So what was your labour like? Can you remember?
Oh, yes, can I remember? So basically, my waters broke at 35 weeks.
Oh
my God.
Yeah, I was just in bed and I sort of felt trickle, trickle, and I was like, what's that?
Wet
And
myself
then it
again.
stopped. Yeah. And then I said, oh, I'm just imagining things. Then trickle, trickle. Anyway, and I was thinking, well, this can't be my waters breaking because I've heard that's a whoosh.
Yeah.
This is just a trickle, trickle. Anyway, so I woke my husband up and then I was like, do you think that's okay? You know, and he was like, let's go to the GP. So we went to the GP, who was like, oh, you need to go to hospital. The baby will come in the next 48 hours. So they sent me off to hospital, and then Charlie had to go home and like pack me a bag. And we hadn't even done the classes.
I guess at 35 weeks, it is early, isn't it?
Yeah. And so basically I was in hospital waiting, you know, in 48 hours, I'm going to have a baby. How weird. And no baby came. 4 days later, no baby came. And there was never a whoosh, but I was just having like this water period. So your waters keep breaking. They keep gushing till the baby
It's not like
comes.
the movies, is it?
It's not like the movies.
No.
And so after 4 days, they were like, and actually, you know, it was quite cool. We were in, just by the London Eye, essentially, because it was Guy's and Thomas's. And like loads of my friends who work in central London would come and visit. They have a cinema there, the Medi Cinema.
Really? I gave birth there. I did not know this.
Yeah, but that's because I was in there for 4 days. And so we went and watched the movies in the Medi Cinema, although they were showing The Descendants, which is about someone on a life support machine.
Oh my God.
Which is a weird
movie.
choice of film. And especially because there's people wheeling in
Oh my
on
word.
drips.
Yeah.
There were beds, the front row were people in beds being
I've
it's
never
a bit
thought
like going
about
to the cinema
people
with
in
the
a
raggy
cinema.
doll.
Wrong crowd,
It's
wrong
just
crowd.
Like, this is
Yeah.
surreal. And then we bought, there's also like an M&S Simply Food. We brought all these snacks, and then they made this speech beforehand, and then they said no eating because some of the people here are nil by mouth, and we're like putting away all our snacks. But I was quite enjoying it just staying there. And then 4 days later, they were like, oh, well, it looks like the baby's not coming anytime soon. We're going to discharge you, but you have to take your temperature and the meds every 4 hours to stave off infection. And you have to come back in every other day so that we can check you. And I was like, oh, this is not a good deal at all. And then we're going to induce you as soon as you're full term so that you don't have to have steroid injections for the baby. And so I got sent home and I had to do all this sort of like extra admin.
Oh my gosh.
I know. And we hadn't done the classes. And it was really funny actually because Charlie was presenting the 10 o'clock show at the time, which is like a current affairs weekly show. So I rang him saying that, we need to book in for when the baby's going to be induced. But we had been talking that morning about not having had done the classes. He thought I meant the classes. So we got our wires crossed. And he was sort of like, no, I've got a script meeting that day and I'm going to be... And I think the hospital just thought he's bonkers. Like, do you care about your unborn child or not?
If you could just fit it in around the schedule, that'd be fantastic.
Totally. Anyway, so we decided to have it the first day we went full term because obviously you want it out as quick as possible. So they were like, okay, so just come in as soon as ring. We had to ring in the morning and then come in with your bag and everything. Talking of which, the bag that Charlie had packed for me obviously was rubbish before.
Yeah, what was
like
in it?
The clothes were just
pack?
so random and like, sort of like, just, getting a husband to pack your bag for you. And oh gosh, I'm so going to be cancelled. I love men. I love my husband.
We say this all the
I
time.
love all
We
men.
love our
we
partners.
genuinely like
but
them. It's just
we-
great
but-
to
but-
vent and get it off our chest.
Yeah. We need to tagline. We genuinely like men, but Anyway, so on the day, I rang the hospital and they're like, oh, sorry, we don't have any beds free. Ring back at lunchtime. And I was like, well, okay.
It's fine, I'll go in the cinema. I'll just give birth in there, put a
I
film
don't
on.
want this kid anyway. Meanwhile, water's still gushing
It's
out.
still
Like I had
going?
to wear these. Oh yeah,
It never stopped.
So for weeks, I'm wearing these like mega-sized maternity pad things. Gush.
And it wasn't we.
No, it's just weird. It's like pinky weird. Water's breaking the water. It's really weird. You have to keep checking that the colour is exactly the right shade of pink.
Oh yeah, in
otherwise
case
it's
the
like-
baby's pooed and it's like...
Yeah, you don't,
of
because
course.
you're really at risk of
Yes,
infection.
yeah.
So then I rang back at lunchtime and they were like, oh, sorry, there aren't any beds free. Ring back in 2 hours. So then I rang back in 2 hours and they're like, well, There's no beds free, but come in anyway and we'll do your meds check and temps.
Yeah.
So that's what I had to be doing anyway remember I had to go in every other day in the interim.
Insane.
So then we went in and they did all that stuff and then they were like, they put 2 plastic chairs like in the corridor and they were like, there should be a bed free any moment now. Just sit on these chairs. So we're just waiting. They're thinking, are we going to have a baby? It came to like dinner time and they were like, oh, why don't you go out and get dinner somewhere? So then we went to Pizza Express just opposite the London, on the South Bank, thinking, are we going to have a baby tonight? Are they just going to send us home? And then at about 11 o'clock that night, we got a bed. So they give you these injections and stuff, and you're supposed to induce contractions.
Yeah.
And we're right opposite Big Ben. And they're like, okay, well, within 6 hours, you'll be dilated to the right amount of 10 centimetres and the contractions will come. And they gave like Charlie this mat and he's just trying to sleep on the floor. So we're trying to get some sleep. And we can hear just Big Ben, bong, bong, it's like it's counting down to my contractions. And these contractions were not coming. I don't know, this baby did not want to come out. So then suddenly they were like, oh, every time they were giving me these meds, the baby's heart rate was dropping. So this is going to be an emergency cesarean now.
Oh, gosh.
And then they like hand Charlie these scrubs and like, go, go, go. And so then we're going to have this emergency cesarean. And then they noticed that I seemed to be dilating more when they'd taken me off all this stuff. So then said, actually, we're not going to do the emergency cesarean. We want to see if your body kicks in and takes over now that you're not having these problems. And so to cut a long story short, in the end, they gave me a C-section, but not like an emergency one because I wasn't, having the contractions or whatever. And they put up this little curtain and I'm totally conscious. But obviously, I've had, a local anaesthetic, not a general. And they're all chatting away, tinkering away behind the curtain. And I feel like a car. And then they were like working away under the car bonnet. And then they just pull out this baby. And then they're like, Charlie, do you want to cut the umbilical cord? And he's sort of like... And then, I was so pumped up full of drugs. Then I sort of started, it wasn't like romantic and wonderful. I was sort of throwing up a bit as well. It was really, it's quite undignified. It was very out of it. But, the baby was healthy and that's
thank
all
goodness.
It was.
Amazing.
And it was lovely. And
And now he's a teenager.
Now he's a teenager.
It's amazing. It's amazing how we don't forget the baby. People always say, "Oh, you forget everything in labour." You don't.
You never forget.
You never forget.
I remember every detail. That was the abridged version I told you.